Now, in a past video, I showed you the inner workings of a DSG gearbox and why it's called a dual clutch and how it has two gearing systems and why it shifts so quickly. The other part of this explanation of the DSG gearbox is to understand why and how it's able to make those decisions to make those shifts. So the question is, how does the DSG gearbox decide when and how to make those shifts? And in this explanation, you'll also understand why the DSG gearbox is probably the greatest, the best gearbox ever made. And I actually think Subaru drivers in races should be given a 10-meter head start every time they are racing a DSG, because it's only fair. It's like writing an essay where you using a pen and the other guy is using AI to write the same essay, and the competition is on how fast you can write the essay. The guy using AI will always win. Subaru drivers should maybe be given a 10 or 15 meters head start in every race where they're facing a DSG, and that's very fair. Now, for you to understand how the DSG is this great, you first need to understand something called a CAN bus network, a central area network. And in a nutshell, this is a network inside your car through which all components talk to each other. Just think about it that way. If you have a car with a sunroof that is supposed to close automatically at, say, 100 kph, the sunroof needs to know that you are at 100 kph. So the sunroof needs to communicate with another component that is tracking your speed. So they do this communication through the central area network. And the DSG gearbox is connected into this central area network. Now, some of the sensors that will feed into this central area network are engine speed sensors, boost sensors, steering angle sensors, brake pressure sensors, brake light on and off sensors. So many sensors. Every sensor in your car, anything that is being monitored by your car, feeds that information into the central area network. And any component that needs any kind of information to make any decision gets that information from the central area network. Now, the DSG is constantly reading more than 15 sensors, 20 sensors inside that central area network. It can make decisions on when to shift, it can make decisions to shift high or low, and it can make decisions on how much to engage clutches and how much torque to deliver to the wheels. And to make that decision, it's reading all those sensors. For example, if you're in a race and you're leaving a corner and your wheels are spinning, your front wheels are also angled to get out of the corner. Your foot is probably in full open throttle because you need a lot of torque as you're getting out of the corner. Your gearbox knows all these things, and your gearbox is making decisions for you on how much to release the clutches, how much to engage, how much torque to deliver to the wheels, and also which gear to be in and what RPMs to hold. So that your gearbox, this gearbox is making all these decisions for you. And you would say all or most automatic gearboxes also read all this kind of information to know when to change gears. Yes, but none of them will change gears as quickly as the DSG. None of them will use all that information and make a decision as fast as the DSG. And that is why you see, even in races, anyone driving a manual car, for example, if you line up a Golf R and a Subaru, that Subaru needs over 200 horsepower on top of the Golf R to win that race just because of that gearbox. maybe 200 is a bit of an exaggeration, but it needs so much more power than the Golf to even be in that contest. And you saw in the last Masinga a few weeks ago, by far the most powerful car there was the GC8, the yellow GC8. However, he had a manual gearbox and he was racing against people who had DSG gearboxes, and that will always make a difference. And the car that eventually won that Masinga used to be a manual Golf, and the owner had built it to the same level he has built today, probably the same power level, but the difference in results has come when he shifted from a manual to a DSG. Because in all fairness, the DSG is a cheat code. The DSG is like driving a car that is being shifted by AI. I think that is the most accurate way to put it. It's like driving a car that is being shifted by AI. And if you think of any gearbox or any car that has a gearbox that you think is greater than the DSG, if you probably think, what about the GTR gearbox? Well, it's a DSG. If you think, what about the PDK gearbox in the Porsches? It's a DSG. So there is no gearbox that is greater than the DSG.